So Bianca and I will talk to you about Snow, an exhibition currently shown at our museum. It was produced in partnership with the Bombardier Museum, and it will start touring next year. First, a few words about our traveling exhibitions offer. Okay. At the Canadian Museum of History, which also includes the Canadian War Museum, we travel approximately 12 exhibitions a year to more than 20 venues. On this slide, you can see the numbers from the year 2012-2013. The numbers vary from year to year, depending on the bookings we have, but also, at some point, since most of our exhibitions are artifact-based, we have to take them off the road and return the artifacts to the museum's collections to ensure the preservation. And we do that somewhere between 2 to 4 years, so relatively short tours. We try to have an interesting selection of traveling exhibitions available for Borrowing Museum on a variety of subjects. We have had children's exhibitions on folk art, military history, Canadian history, Inuit, and Native art. We try to do that while maintaining a balance with the Canadian Museum of History and the War Museum exhibitions calendar, and the resource available to develop the exhibitions and coordinate the tours. In 2011, when the museum was planning to develop an exhibition on snow, the Traveling Exhibition Service was asked to advise on the possibility of touring the exhibition after its presentation at the CMH. Since at that time, many other exhibitions ideas were being discussed at the CMH and at the War Museum, we decided to do a market survey to see what themes would be interesting for museums across Canada. So we listed 14 ideas or topics. You can see a few here, but I have my complete list. But we had 19th century pottery depicting ourselves, an exhibition on an exhibition of native art, and Dream, Wonder, Imagine, children's exhibition. Pushing the Envelope, Reflections of Canada, 2 exhibitions on postal themes. We had, of course, Snow. We had the 4 Wars of 1812, 2 other children's exhibitions. And we sent that list to 65 museums across Canada and asked them what would be their preferred themes using a web-based survey. So the top five topics. Number 5 was depicting ourselves. Number 4, Kids Celebrate, children's exhibition. Go Green, an exhibition on recycling. The 4 Wars of 1812, number 2, and first came Snow. So after this first survey, we gathered more information on the exhibition. We were able to provide the information on the themes and artifacts, and we sent a very quick second step survey, this time asking about size, booking period preferences, loan fee. And after that, we were able to go back to the team with this information, and it was decided to tour a smaller version of Snow right after the closing of the exhibition at the Canadian Museum of History. As the exhibition was being developed and more information was becoming available, we started promoting it. We produced information sheets and advertising the exhibition on our website. But we really started booking it after the opening at the Canadian Museum of History, after people could actually see the final result. And I'm going to let Bianca follow.
Okay. Good afternoon. The planning of a traveling exhibition based on a much larger temporary exhibit is a challenge process. In this presentation, I will share the 3 criteria that guided our choices. Thank you. For us, these are the fundamental elements for the development of the touring version of the snow exhibition. Snow has always influenced the way we live and our capacity to adapt. Just think about the constant evolution of our winter sports. Snow is not only a source of inspiration for artists, it's also a strong force in our economy. This exhibition offers a cultural history of snow, and it's designed to provide greater insight into our connection with this essential facet of the Canadian identity. An exhibition adopts an approach, develops a design, and conveys knowledge, but most of all, it must also be a source of emotion. Of course, we wish to produce aesthetic emotions, but we also hope to stir an interest. These emotions will favor awareness that will in turn support the acquisition of new knowledge. We believe that this interest will help motivate the exploration of something new and thus facilitate learning. One of the guiding criteria in designing this traveling project was to promote the creation of a personal connection between the exhibition content and visitor lives, while encouraging interpersonal interaction and engagement. The experience is designed to immerse visitors in an environment that encourages them to share their own memories about snow and to consider ideas related to the danger, fun, inspiration offered by snow. Some of these decorative ideas thank you. Some of these decorative elements will be made available to the museum so as they in turn can create their own snowy scenery. For the Canadian Museum of History presentation, we created a crowdsourcing program, as we've seen here. Thank you. In which we asked the public through our website to send us their stories and photos about snow. For this technological component to be beneficial in the creation of an engaging experience, it must be integrated in the exhibition space and the global experience. Even in the touring version, we will encourage the installation located near the entrance of the exhibition hall to help create a dialogue among visitors and conversations about snow. We received around 450 of those images, and they are presented in web frames, in digital frames, available also for the touring version. And the audience, we feel, will then feel immediately concerned by the subject and will establish an indirect contact with the objects showcased further in the hall. Our goal is to make sure that the technology won't detract from the power and the significance of stories and content. A second parameter is the importance of keeping a certain number of objects for the traveling version. Instead of starting with categories or themes, our approach to the selection of objects for the exhibition is that we identified objects that are visually striking, associated with powerful, interesting ideas, and relate to people in direct, compelling way. We took into account two perspectives: objects that illustrate a specific narrative, and also objects chosen for the evocative power that provide a kind of fascination in the context of the exhibition. Visitors should be able to see themselves and their own experience in this exhibition, with specific content encouraging them to take their own experiences further. Be they utilitarian or aesthetically beautiful, the objects are sometimes a testimony to our Canadian identity and sometimes conveyors of knowledge, but all of them illustrate the way of life and know-how of their era. Our third criteria is how to deal with expectations. First, ours, as a team that developed a traveling project in terms of selecting content, to make difficult choices and to favor what is essential to the exhibition message. Not everything can make it into a traveling exhibition, should make it in a traveling exhibition. I'm saying this. Huh? We need to think about what serves the story first and foremost. Then the museum's expectations. From the beginning, it was understood that in developing the project, we needed to plan a traveling display. The complexity lies in having to design an exhibition that responds to a double objective: responding to the museum priorities in terms of recycling structures and interactives, and responding to the overall exhibition experience that allow us to present the breadth of the CMH National Collection via both historical and contemporary perspectives. How to meet these specific challenges? Well, for example, for one zone, as you see here, this zone features a wide range of folk art and Inuit art, at which, at first glance has no obvious connection. By presenting the objects in cylindrical plexiglass cases, designed also for traveling, a contemporary and cohesive display style was created. The third group of expectations come from borrowing museums. The important question is what the host museum needs. For this aspect, we benefit from the support offered by the coordinators of a traveling exhibition, since they are in direct contact with the host museums. They know what is realistic and what the museum expects in a touring exhibition. How do we respond to these expectations? The idea was to build an interactive for traveling. As seen here, the table there, sound matching game, are you a snow expert? And not to create something new material, but to adapt what the museum already has planned. I would like to conclude by saying that adapting part of an exhibition is at once easier and more difficult than starting from scratch and creating a new product. True, it was a challenge, but the biggest challenge was to define the fundamental criteria that were going to outline the exhibition and to respect them. Thank you.